Ladies and gentlemen, my beloved daughters and sons, listen to me what I am addressing today. Listen with carefully and concentration. My God can change your lives with miracles, but with faith and fully devotion. The question I set: are you prepared, your brain and soul, for action? Listen to me, there comes a moment in life when heaven whispers louder than the noise of your doubts. When you're standing at the edge of your limits, and suddenly something shifts. The timing, the doors, the peace. Everything starts to align in ways you can't explain. That's not random, that's not coincidence, that's God rearranging the universe to remind you that your story isn't over. You see, miracles are not just found in ancient scriptures. They are happening in the quiet corners of your life every single day. You just stopped calling them miracles because the world taught you to call them luck. That job that came when you were about to give up. That phone call that changed your direction. That breath you take every morning after a night you thought you wouldn't survive. All of it is divine intervention wrapped in ordinary disguise. But here's the truth. God doesn't always shout. He often whispers through moments so subtle that only faith can recognize them. And many of you have lost that sensitivity, that inner vision, because you've been too busy surviving, too tired, too distracted. You've forgotten that the same God who formed galaxies also formed you, not for defeat, but for dominion. Listen, God's miracles don't happen to the idle. They happen to the awakened, to those who still dare to expect something sacred in a world that worships logic. You can't live like a spectator and expect divine movement. You can't say you believe in a limitless God while living in mental poverty. When miracles happen, they don't just change your circumstances. They change you. They break the illusion that you're powerless. They prove that heaven responds to faith, not fear. So wake up. Stop saying maybe one day. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. God never needed perfect conditions. He only needed a willing heart. The moment you start expecting divine movement in your life, heaven starts aligning. Because miracles are not random events. They are the natural outcome of awakened faith. Let's be real. You say you believe in miracles, but you live like you don't. You pray for breakthrough, but prepare for disappointment. You quote verses but doubt in silence, and yet you wonder why nothing changes. Here's a truth you might not like. You don't receive miracles because you don't expect them anymore. You've allowed logic to become your God. You measure your future by your past. You've made peace with average because faith requires too much risk. But God doesn't operate inside your comfort zone. He works through surrender, through that quiet, trembling yes that says, even if it doesn't make sense, I'll still believe. Miracles are not for the lazy. They are for the spiritually active, those who feed their minds with faith and guard their words like soldiers, because words are seeds. And you can't plant doubt all week and expect a harvest of breakthrough. You must start training your brain to see God's fingerprints in your everyday life. The air you breathe, the ideas that come in flashes of inspiration, the sudden peace in chaos, all of it is divine communication. When you begin to recognize that, your energy changes. You stop complaining, you start creating, you start walking like a co-laborer with heaven instead of a victim of circumstances. The moment your mind aligns with the possibility of divine movement, life begins to rearrange itself. Bills get paid through unexpected means. Opportunities show up disguised as problems. Connections form that catapult you forward. This is not superstition, it's spiritual law. Faith activates what fear blocks. So the next time you feel stuck, don't ask God to prove himself. Ask yourself, am I living like I believe he already has? Because when your faith matures, you stop begging for miracles. You start expecting them as your inheritance. Let's confront the truth. You've seen miracles before, but you've forgotten them. You've survived storms that should have broken you, and instead of gratitude, you moved on like it was nothing. You've seen divine protection, divine timing, divine grace, yet you've labeled it as luck. And that's why your life feels dry, because gratitude is the oxygen of miracles, and you've been holding your breath. God has carried you through seasons that you are not strong enough to endure. He kept you when your own decisions should have destroyed you. You didn't make it because you were wise. You made it because mercy covered your foolishness, but you've forgotten. You've replaced worship with worry, faith with logic, humility with pride. You want God to bless your plans, but you won't surrender your control. You want abundance, but your habits speak scarcity. You want peace, but your mind is filled with noise. And still you say, "Where are the miracles?" Miracles are not absent. Awareness is. You've been blind to the daily grace that sustains you. You keep asking for signs, and God keeps sending them. But your eyes are too busy staring at the problems. Wake up. You are standing in the middle of miracles every day, but your mind is too tired to see them. That heartbeat, that breath, that random person who believed in you, it's all heaven's handwriting across your story. The harsh truth? God will not reward passivity. He blesses movement. He blesses diligence. He blesses those who act, not those who only ask. Because faith is not just a prayer, it's a posture, a decision to move when you don't see. So stop blaming life. Stop calling yourself unlucky. Start calling yourself chosen, because that's what you are. This is your wake-up call. You've been waiting for a sign, and these are the sign. It's time to stop living on autopilot and start living on assignment. You are not created to wake up, work, pay bills, and die. You were designed to build, to create, to prosper, to lead. God didn't send you to earth to survive. He sent you to steward His power. Every gift, every idea, every desire for more, it's heaven's nudge saying, there's still more in you. So rise up, start managing your mind like it's sacred ground, because it is. Every thought you entertain is either opening a door for God or for fear. You cannot build a wealthy life with a poverty mindset. You cannot expect divine abundance while repeating human excuses. Faith is the highest form of intelligence. When you align your mind with heaven's possibilities, creativity explodes. You stop saying, "I can't." You start saying, "With God, I can." Miracles happen when the human spirit starts believing like heaven, when you walk like your destiny is already written, not questioned. When you start giving, serving, building, and speaking as if divine favor is your natural state, because it is. So here's your challenge. Start living like your prayers already manifested. Walk with discipline, speak with conviction, think with abundance. Because faith without action is fantasy. The world doesn't need another dreamer. It needs a believer who moves. And when you move with God, heaven moves with you. So go, live like the miracle is already in motion. Because when you believe it, act on it, and speak it, that's when God's miracles happen.